My name is Abel. People hardly ask me that, because from my appearance, they assume I will not be able to answer. I wish people would take the time to get to know me, instead of just giving me one of the looks. I have seen them all. Some people give a cursory glance, some a look of disdain. Pity is the most common, and others give it outright hostile stares. I am aware of each and every one of them. I have dreams, hopes, desires, and aspirations just like everyone else. I have a more resilient character, because over time I've learnt on a daily basis to figure out new ways of doing things that others do with such ease, taking their abilities for granted. There is an idea that occupies my mind and is always in the background of my thoughts. How did this happen to me? Did my parents do something wrong? Or did the insult on my brain take place after I was born? Is there something that could have been done to prevent this from making me the person that I am? Are there other families like mine struggling to understand and make sense of the way their lives have changed because they had children like me? I swing between feelings of anger and gratitude towards my family 100 times a day. Anger, because I feel they brought me into this world and let me down in the worst possible way. And gratitude, when I realize the sacrifices they have made in order to ensure I have the best possible life they could afford to give me. Oftentimes, I feel like a tiger in a zoo, constantly on display, isolated, rearing to go but limited by the confines of my cage. Integrating with the rest of my pack is a mere dream because I have missed out on years of basic survival skills and social interaction. It would be nice to have close relationships outside of my family, designated caregivers and acquaintances from the vocational centers. Maybe if I had some friends, I would not feel so alone most of the time. But how do I make friends when it is so difficult to carry on conversations? How do I explain that the thoughts are within my head but my physical body can't articulate them? I think about all the fascinating topics we could discuss. I think about how social we could be. Visiting restaurants, going to the movies, museums, or theaters. In reality, public spaces are my worst nightmare. It takes a lot of effort for me just to get from point A to B. Will there be a staircase or an escalator? I always consider if there will be accessible streets or sidewalks. Will someone have to be so considerate to make sure that an entrance ramp has been put in place? Will I be able to order something to eat when the menus come around? I can only read words of 2 syllables, the sum total of my literacy. I usually have to be chaperoned and treated like a child. I know my family thinks this is what's best for me, but all it really does is increase my feelings of incompetency. And I still feel like I stick out. This is not my idea of fitting in with the rest of society. I think of having stereotypical friends. The system seems to think this is a bad idea because for some reason, they think all people with traumatic brain injuries should be together. How do I increase my capacity to learn if I have to interact with people who do not have the capacity to teach me? I think of having a wife and children of my own someday to love and nurture the way that my family has loved and nurtured me. I would love to rise above the confines of my body and get a job so that I can be self-sufficient. I also want to feel like I'm contributing my share to society despite my disabilities. I may not be able to take up high-powered intellectual positions, but I can work with my hands and make things of beauty. If only I can be given the chance. No one understands that I didn't choose to be like this, and I still have the same wants and needs. Employers often do not see past my disability. They believe that I will not have the abilities to perform and deliver on the job. I learned early on not to reveal the fact that I'm disabled to prospective employers, because I've been told in the past not to bother coming for an interview once they became aware of my limitations. There's also the stigma of having been in and out of the hospital for most of my life. The additional time I might need to go for physiotherapy, physical therapy, and speech therapy. Most employers do not want to be saddled with the responsibility of adapting their regular work routine to fit my lifestyle. But I take my chances and go for interviews anyways, hoping I can convince them. Time and time again, I'm refused for various reasons. They'll say things like, "You don't quite fit the description of the person we are looking for, Abel. Your skill sets are not suitable for the job we have in mind, Abel. And don't call us, we will call you." They never call back. I've been able to get by all these years because I've basically lived with my parents, and the government subsidy was just sufficient for me to get by and meet my daily needs. I have now become increasingly aware of my surroundings, and I get concerned about my safety. I may not be able to react quickly if there's danger. If I can't get a better job, more income, then accessing better housing, it's not feasible. Apart from my safety concerns, it's getting increasingly difficult to get from my home to the vocational centers to my appointments with different health centers. If only I could move around easily. If only my home was in a decent area of town. I'm not sure if there are services out there that I'm missing. I'm also unsure if I could access them anyways. All I would like is for people to try and see life through my eyes. I want them to hear my voice. I want them to see my soul. I want to belong. I want to contribute. I want to live life to the fullest, despite my disabilities.